right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to Honcast here. DreamHack Qualifiers continuing to come at you on what is now the Sunday, and that means we are down to our final four teams, and eventually going to find out which is going to be the first team to qualify for the DreamHack Summer 2015 event. With that said, I'm Rick CBK. Going to be joined by Znui here once again as my co-caster. And what a day we have ahead of us here. We're getting it kicked off. Reason Gaming versus Sync Esports, the classic matchup here in a best of three. Which of these two teams can advance on to the finals? We're going to find out here in just a couple of minutes. With that said again, joined by Znui. Znui, how's it going?
Thank you, Bricky. Wonderful introduction as always. You know what? I'm doing really good. When I got here yesterday, I was 100% ready. Today, I'm freaking 200% ready. There was just something special with the games from yesterday. They had this tension, this aggression that left us all speechless. I don't know what it was, but the teams were playing their hearts out for us, and everyone really wants this DreamHack spot. So tonight, I will just make sure to enjoy every second of the games because this is going to be something extra.
Yeah, it really was a crazy and unique day to an extent, and that's the interesting thing. Is it a taste of things to come here throughout the rest of this event and moving forward, or it wasn't maybe just an anomaly, just a crazy day all around? But no matter what, I mean, this matchup always definitely produces pretty solid games. Of course, this is a rematch of several sorts. Not only have these two teams kind of met up frequently throughout history, but as of recently as Thursday, they met up in the Deadeye Bounty League, and Sync Esports did actually defeat Reason Gaming 3-0. Now, again, Reason Gaming competed fairly well, and at least a couple of those games, but in the end, Sync Esports really making a statement that, hey, they had their struggles at the World Finals. What's done is done. They are still here to play, though, and definitely looking forward to DreamHack Summer 2015. So, but yeah, no doubt it's going to be another great day. Of course, the other matchup, Fresh versus Team Disband, is up there, and that is currently being covered by Kronos F once again. So if you're interested in that match, you can also have that up, get some dual streams going on, and of course, as always, we'll keep an eye on it to see any updates that may be happening from there. But anyways, we got enough to talk about with this matchup, so let's start getting into it with the draft. The initial bans: Tremble, Warbeast, Ophelia, Dr. Repulsor, Midas first pick into Parasite, Magnus into Puppet Master, and Swiftblade into Moira. Moira, Insania, loves to play that hero. Really nothing too crazy here so far to start things off, and I think that's kind of expected with these two teams going at it. So, anything standing out to you, Znui?
As far as it goes for the draft, I would say that Swiftblade is most likely going to be run as a suicide. He can spin out of that puppet's hold, and he can also get rid of the Mora relatively easy. Mora's attack range is 550, so it's relatively high, but it's not the max as some other support. So most likely looking at a Swiftblade suicide and Magnus possibly in the mid. They were trying to run Omi as a Magnus yesterday in an offensive suited trial and didn't work out the best, but it still had the potential to do so. So I feel like a Magnus, possibly a dual lane in the mid here, and then we're going to have the Midas instead, possibly in the safe lane. I don't even know what, but you cannot put the Midas versus the Puppet Master. That's like the main thing to take away from the draft right here. Then we got the Parasite. Not sure how to deal with that, but I would prefer not to have a Magnus support when there is a Parasite on the board. It's not a very good situation. So we're going to see what they're picking up here. They're going to ban the Behemoth and the Engineer here as the last bans at least.
Yeah. So Behemoth, Engineer, Dark Lady, Pebbles, Valkyrie, and Prisoner is the ultimate bans coming out here from either of these sides. So now back over to Reason Gaming again. Imba Oh, by the way, look at that. He's back to Imba. Just noticing that.
What?
I was calling him that anyways. So, okay. I guess. So was that just an alt account that he had, or was it actually a name change here? I want to say.
I looked into it right now, and it was just an alt avatar actually, or not an alt avatar, an alt sub account.
Oh, okay, that makes sense then. So he just decides whichever one. Maybe we kept calling him Imba, so he's just like, you know what, screw it. I'll just play an Imba then.
Yeah, that's most likely the case.
So he's going to be on that. But anyways, of course, again, the captain of the team, and so we'll see what he chooses here. And running out of time. Okay, Glacius. Yeah, I was going to make mention of that. You mentioned Parasite and a hero that's solid against him. Glacius tends to be. He has his downsides too, where Parasite can face hug if he gets frozen and transfer and whatnot. But the freeze is a powerful tool against the minions of Parasite and force him out if anything. So back over to Sync now.
I'm pretty sure that Mora can use all of his spells as well. while frozen by the glaciers. So if she were to channel that illusion of hers in the early game and glaciers were the only one in nearby, then he's not even gonna be able to stop the stun. So very questionable pickup, I feel. I mean, glaciers, yes, it is good versus the parasite, but I feel like that's mainly because, or in the early stages of the game. When it comes to the later stages, he's not gonna improve or have that much of an effect on the parasite. And now we got Meraxes as well. I don't really feel like the Racing got the option to run dual mid now, which I was hoping for to see with the Magnus and possibly a Pyro Monster or an Engineer or something like that. Instead, it seems like they're going for a little bit more of a defensive route. You can't really man up with a Glacius either, and I feel like this is a mistake going for that Midas on the Suicide versus a Puppet Monster. He's going to have a really, really tough time.
Yeah, it's you talk about the Midas Puppet Master matchup. Ooh, Pharaoh coming out here with the more access. So
Okay.
why would you say Midas is just not the best against Puppet Master?
I just don't like it overall. I mean, first of all, he got lower range than the Mora, so he's going to be out-harassed easily. And the Puppet Monster, he got a lot of disables. And a low-range Midas is going to have trouble. Melees are even tougher, but I feel like the only way to actually take out the Puppet Monster is to have something like that can push back the lane, or something that can pull the lane, like a War Beast, a Keeper, a Kinesis maybe can keep the lane back, because that disable, especially with the Parasite, most likely going to be in the defensive force. Now when the leading team got the Glacius, it's going to be 3 heroes versus that Midas, so it is enough that Puppet Monster gets one of his 2 disable spells off to secure a kill on Midas.
Okay, no, that makes sense there. Now my longtime co-caster of recent Mini was definitely not the biggest fan of a hero such as Pharaoh, and that comes out here for Reza Gaming. What about you, Snooey? Do you like the Pharaoh pickup here? Can you see use for it?
It could work out. I know Recent Gaming loves to play it. They have been rather successful as well. But I mean, in general, it is the kind of hero that has fallen off a little bit, simply because the games usually tend to go to the later stages. They are not really, or we're not seeing too much 50-minute concedes anymore. And that's really when Pharaoh shines, because as soon as he gets to level 6, he can be really useful. You can run around, you can take control over the enemy team's map. But nowadays, it's more of a little bit more of a defensive kind of style. And I just feel like Pharaoh, I mean, that's kind of like putting it all on the mid game. Because if you're not going to be able to compete or take out Sync during that period of time, then they are going to be much stronger when it comes to the late game.
Yeah. Definitely brings that, level 6 impact as soon as he gets. I can definitely set up some kills now. Accursed coming out here. This is not a typical Sync hero. Their counterparts in now Bad Monkey Gaming, they were known to run it quite a bit. Of course, Boxy plays the Suicide Accursed. They're in the Suicide, or more so the Accursed Valkyrie lane. And I don't know if Sync's actually played it before. You see the overall stats right there. We've seen it 14 games out total, 85.7% win percentage. Holy crap, that's actually pretty damn impressive. But again, only 14 games. But has Sync played this, Quincy? Because, again, I want to say this is their first game with it, and going to be in the hands of Kazu. So I'm intrigued to see how he ultimately fares with it. And, of course, is definitely just a powerful hero of sorts. We've seen his possible carry potential. We've seen him play as more utility as well. And he definitely has impacts all over the place now. Okay, yeah, this is Sync's first game with Accursed. So. But what do you make of this Accursed pickup coming out here?
Oh, it's a very good counter to the Glacius, and I'm not sure if the Magnus is going to be pulling. I mentioned it early in the draft that I don't like to see the Magnus as a support when you're up versus the Parasite, and now when they got Accursed as well, wait, Accursed is solo top actually.
Yeah.
So they're not going to address, or they are going to address the Magnus pulling into the force, so they're going to try to prevent that with an offensive Trillion. Or Mora is heading top. I'm a little bit confused. I don't know.
They seem unsure themselves as far as what they want to do. So, yeah, they're kind of okay. It looks like Puppet and Mora are heading top now, so of course is going to end up bottom. Maybe that was a key. I mean, something kind of gave it away. I don't know what information they necessarily got here. Maybe they saw them kind of in the jungle blocking camps, and that kind of get in the queue. I don't know, but something did. And clearly,
there was no way they could have scouted them though, because they weren't close to any towers, and
yeah, maybe it was just simply
yeah.
Meister going, you know what? Let's just do this instead. Parasite's going aggressive, though, yeah, as you're talking about there.
I don't feel like he should go up quite yet, though. I feel like he should have waited to the 30-minute or 30-second mark. Magnus is going to do a good job and block this camp, though, so it's not going to matter in the end. But Slapped, he's not going to get too much done here.
Oh, boy. He runs into Glacius and Magnus, and, yeah, this camp gets blocked. He has no creeps to take over. Slapped is falling here, most likely. Bloodlust kill in favor of Nier. Coming out here to start things off. Was
He
he?
was actually fine there though. Yeah, because Curse was coming in with shield, but he ran to the
Oh.
left towards the Glacius instead of towards Kizu. He could have lived through that, unfortunately, but a little bit of a stressful communication. I guess the communication bursted a bit.
Yeah. That is not often for Sync Esports. And, something else here at the top lane, actually, Pharaoh getting heavily pressured. He actually popped a health push that got canceled right away. It wasn't enough to save him, but now Zane's really in a troublesome spot if he wasn't already here at this top lane. But, yeah, going aggressive with the Parasite. Kind of
very
backfires
questionable.
already.
But I just want to mention as well, the top lane, I'm not sure what happened with the Pharaoh, didn't see it, but he got the lane pushed back now, so he's going to get some experience right from the get-go. So that's kind of a fail from the Sync Esports side.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you either what necessarily happened there, but he's going to get some good experience, to say the least. So not necessarily last hitting, unfortunately, but again, that's not necessarily what his goal is here. He just wants to get the experience and accomplishing that because of the push-up. But again, Parasite going back to the Legion jungle here. Now, I mean, you look at his own jungle, several of the camps are blocked, to be fair, so, wants to be able to find some more free farm here, but we already saw what happened with the pressure here of Reason Gaming, so Zlapt is finding himself in a tough spot already. Now he's going to get a Vulture Lord here and be able to farm with that, at least for the time being, but keep an eye on him. I mean, you could tell. They have a feeling that he's in here. In fact, the Courier are going to spot him, and here comes Glacius now, as well as Magnus with Striders already. Holy crap. The freeze comes out. He's forced to come out of the creep as expected. And now even Midas coming over as well. Slapped once again in trouble. Of course, no transmute yet. However, Pharaoh also coming in here. The mommy walls come up, so 4 players collapsing to take him out. Nier gets credit once again for the kill. I mean, it did take 4 players, so a little bit of a win there, but at the same time, it's now a second death for Zlapt already.
Yeah, and I feel like, Glacius and Magnus, doesn't really matter that they are spending their time chasing out the Parasite, because as long as they get the kill in the end, it's going to still result in a good thing for Reason Gaming. I mean, we got this Magnus here, which, he failed with pulling the lane in the early game, or he didn't choose not to, so if he wouldn't have gotten that first blood and this second kill, he would have been stuck at below 100 GPM at this point. Now instead he's at 330, so he's looking really good.
3 minutes into this game, it's a slight goal lead here in favor of this Legion team, and he saw the stat right there. Zane actually on Pharaoh. This is his #1 hero by far, apparently, but he's 2-12 with it. That's really intriguing. The fact this is his most popular hero. He had a very, very low win percentage, and as I say that, Zane is going to go down here at the top lane. Enough pressure coming out. Of course, Moria doing a good job as well, using that Ephemeral Forge as Insania does, and cutting him off. So that's not going to be the good start that they're hoping for. He still remains level 2. As he resurrects right there. So, yeah, not going too well up there at the top lane for Zane, unfortunately. Meanwhile, as far as a Curse, kind of the counterpart there, the other Suicide hero, he's doing a little bit better at least. He is level 3 and about 160 gold per minute, his 8-1 creep farm, but he too, of course, is not taking off by any means.
Oh, look at mid.
Yeah. Ooh.
I think Mickey was actually close off getting that stun off on Midas, and that would have certainly resulted in a kill. He's putting a lot of pressure on this mid lane. He's playing so offensively with the Morax's ability. He's 300 GPM versus a Midas, which I really feel like Midas is the one that has the upper hand when it comes to this lane.
Yeah.
Oh, a cursed hasted in towards the mid lane. I'm not sure if they are going to dive the tower.
He thought about it, but then he cuts towards the yellow camp, actually, and instead is just going to farm that up, realizing that Midas was playing pretty defensive. A Curse is actually in a little bit of a troublesome spot. Again, he does have Haste Rune, but he's going to be caught here, and if they're able to stun execute, there's a transfer ready to go. Magnus with the stun. Does Midas have enough mana? That's the question. Freeze comes out, but there's the Fire Shield, and he is going to be fine in the end. Oh, God, he got low, but he does survive. Pops a health potion, and yeah, he's going to survive. I think Midas just didn't have enough mana there for a combo, so he actually held back from attempting it because of that, so. But if Transmute was good, then that would have been good, but yeah, it wasn't the case. But yeah, I mean, that kind of goes back to Glacius, too. The fact that your Freeze, it's an okay crowd control ability, but they're able to cast through it. And a Curse is one of these heroes, too, that really benefits of that. The fact that he can just purge it right off with that Fire Shield, so.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I felt it was so questionable to pick up the Glacius. Yes, it is good versus Parasite, but he has transferred back to his own forest, so it's not really going to be too useful. There's no way they can bring down that Curse. Even if Switchblade gets level 6, it's still questionable whether or not they can actually dive this tower and get a kill on a Cursed.
Yeah.
So I think it was quite creative and very well played by Insania, actually thinking about getting this a Cursed, which isn't a typical Sync hero.
Yeah, no, it's Moraxis on top of that, too. I mean, this is not a very routine lineup necessarily by Sync Esports. You know, Mickey playing the Moraxis here, not that Moraxis. I mean, we made mentions of it. I think when I had you on last time, actually, was the qualifiers last week. We saw a couple of Moraxis games and the potential of this hero and how powerful he is. And, you know, making the point that it's just like, why don't we see this hero more? Because he actually is a very strong initiator, and he's going to go in right here on a Midas. He's at least going to force an elemental warp, and there's the stomp. Again, not going to be a kill, but as he's going to take a transmute himself. But again, that Matrax ability, man, it's a strong, strong tool. And when you think you have a kill on him, before you know it, he pops that Matrax and not only survives, but can definitely turn around in team fights. So
yeah, we see Kesu down here at the bottom doing a really good job at securing the rune from Raxus as well. He's playing so offensively. He's running up into the enemy force just to make sure that no one is coming to get that regen from Raxus. And I love to see that kind of teamwork, because it's not usually that you see, or I mean, you see your Suicide run over and be at the bot lane and you're like checking out the rune and you're like, okay, there's a regen rune, and then he returns to his lane. But Kesu is actually taking it one step further. He's securing all the surroundings just to make sure that Raxus is indeed going to get that rune. Oh, Invis in the mid, or Veiled Rot. Magnus coming in.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be enough to get a kill if he manages to get a stun off.
Yeah, he's in the vicinity right here. Kind of the Veiled Rod. It's just out of range. He's going to be exposed right there. He says, screw it, I'm going to go in. Moraxis, look at that range from Midas, man. I always get caught off guard by that, and I wonder if other players do as well, because the range on Midas, it's like 1,000 range, I believe. Yeah, on both the Lion's Pride and the Golden Salvo. So it can really have some good distance, some good reach right there, and of course close enough to get the kill onto Moraxis as a result. So you mentioned the Field Rock gang coming in, and we now have a 3-1 hero kill lead in favor of Reason Gaming. In the meantime, Puppet Master and Swiftblade both are doing some pretty good farm here. Seems like Immaboy and Swiftblade doing slightly better. And again, this is a short lane Swiftblade, so you know maybe we usually see the Abyssal Skull and kind of going from there, but he actually picks up a Life Tube on top of the Ghost Marchers. So is that going to be a Rune Cleaver, you think?
Good question. Usually I'm not too much of a fan of having a Rune Cleaver on Swiftblade, especially when he's going for the Steam or the Ghost Marchers. I feel like Steam Boots would be the superior choice if that's where the item of his choice. But what else can it really be? I don't see too many other options.
Yeah. I mean, Nullstone's the other obvious one, I guess.
But that's I don't think that's going to happen though. That's not the typical Swiftblade item. So I guess it's just like, you know, we don't necessarily have the late game when it comes to heroes. So maybe I just have to go, you know, out of my way to actually secure it with one of those heavy farm items.
Didn't Slick, speaking of Slick's actually top lane, Moira at the top lane gonna get caught out here as Midas and Magnus both up here roaming around looking to set up kills, and they find Insania alone in the jungle, so ends up being a free kill for them. Well played. But what I was getting at, didn't Six when he went the Portakeeper, didn't he actually go ahead with the Black Legion first, I want to say? So I wonder if like something like that could be a possibility. That doesn't seem Immaboy style, though. That definitely doesn't seem his style, so I assume it is going to be a Rune Cleaver because of that, but I thought that was worth bringing up at least. I mean, he does have the components for it, to be fair, but probably not going to be a hell.
Either that, we're just picking it up for the laning phase alone, and he's just going to let it be a live tube in general. I mean, he felt like Glacius and Magnus, they are busy roaming. They're not really going to be able to provide me support down here, so I'm just going to go for a live tube and therefore be fine and be able to, you know, harass this accursed. But I would, now it's a sustainer as well, so it's definitely going to be built into that rune axe of his.
Yeah. You see the.
I wonder, if Sync are going to defend this or if they're just going to let it fall. I feel like almost they should just let it fall.
Well, they
don't have visual,
Well, I mean, Pharaoh and Magnus both are coming over here, too. So, yeah, if Sync really tries to defend this, that could definitely backfire big time, so.
Exactly. I feel like they had a visual on the Pharaoh walking over as well with this Ward of Sight here, placed by Mickey in the mid lane. But it seems like actually they are going to defend this. Ports are coming in.
Boy. Yeah, here we go. A curse going to be jumped, but he got his ultimate off right there. Now they do get the tower kill. Will this work out in the end? Moira running in. It does not have Arcane Vortex yet. You see Moraxis joining the party as well. He still has this Matrax. They catch Pharaoh. Pharaoh's going to end up falling despite his mummy wall. Curse in the front grounds. Here comes a face hug from Parasite, and Magnus going to end up going down by now. Midas is here, but he gets here way too late. I mean, he's a lot of their damage here. And unfortunately, he wasn't able to get there in time, so the defense actually, you know, does work out early for Sync. Sure, they still lose the tower, but they get 3 hero kills, and now they say, you know what, we're all here. Let's go ahead and counter-push ourselves and go for the tower kill. So, works out pretty well for Sync in the end. Oh, Moira.
Yeah, well played by them. Okay. Their communication is spot on. when it comes to these kind of things like tower defenses, counter pushing, all that kind of stuff. He just speaks sync. Recent gaming a little bit hesitating whether or not they wanted to go in or not. They felt like first of all it was a good idea to back off. Then they were like, okay, maybe we can actually get a kill on a curse. But then Glacius accidentally froze the Swift Blade, so the opportunity just lost.
Yeah.
And resulting in a free hero kill for Sync Esports, and just like that, I mean, they're looking really good.
So that was obviously a mistake, right? I mean, there was no reason for him to freeze the Swift Blade there.
No.
Okay. I didn't catch that myself,
mistake.
but yeah, very likely mistake because it didn't seem like Swift Blade was necessarily in the worst situation himself. So, unfortunate misclick coming out there. We saw that yesterday, and that was the Midas game. I think that was for BM, or was that for Mint? Actually, that's right. Krake actually for Midas. Unfortunately, misclicked there, and his Malikan teammate died as a result, and they still won it in the end, though. So we'll see if it's the same thing here for recent gaming or not. But right now, Sync Esports getting some good momentum, of course, and taking the slight lead themselves, including the 2300 experience lead now on top of it here. We got Puppet Master porting back to the top lane. He's going to continue to farm up here. Sustainer finished on Swiftblade, so obviously not going to be a Helm. It's, again, very likely going to be a Rune Cleaver here. Is the expected option.
I just don't know what to feel about this Rune Cleaver. I mean, it doesn't go with the lineup in general. Even though he picks it up, I don't think that they are really going to be able to contest the late game. Pharaoh is going to taper off completely, and so does the Midas when the BKB timing is hit. So, actually, initiation in mid.
They're looking to collapse right here. Yep, their assistant's coming in, but there's that Matrax. Will it be enough to survive? No, it's not. Stomp comes out, but it wasn't nearly enough. Zlapt and Keizu come in, but not able to get here in time. Look at Midas with the invis. He's able to scout things out still, but, they go for a curse right here. Maybe not. In fact, Glacius needs to be careful. As you see Parasite coming in, Midas trying to maybe get a transmute to help him, but now here comes a leech. There's a face hug. The Mummy Wall, though, is going to block them off, and he goes through the Mummy Wall himself and will escape. Very good save right there coming out from Zane. For his
Well played by Zane, indeed. Mickey actually forgot to use his Arcane Shield in the mid lane there. He could have absorbed the entire Swiftblade ultimate and came out alive, but just a split second too late and he's gonna fall. So that's a big kill. Delaying his pull key timing is really something that recent gaming should prioritize right now, because seeing as you go for that rune axe of his, I mean, Sync Esports is going to be able to afford to go offensive, and therefore the longer that you can prevent that pull key timing, the longer that you're going to prevent them from taking action and taking more ground and going offensive onto your side. So very, very well needed kill.
Yeah. I love that. There's not many heroes that a level 8 Curse ran into a level 11 Swiftblade there. And there's not many heroes where the Swiftblade was like, you know what, it's just not worth my time chasing him down. He auto-attacked him once and he just ran the other direction. He's like, there's no point. I mean, he's got his fire shield, he's got his flame consumption. It's the backup could get here in time, so it's just like, what's the point of even trying? So, but yeah, not many heroes that can do that, definitely. There's the Rune Cleaver, though. Portal key on Magnus now as well. Jeez.
Just level 6, though, so I don't think it's going to have the most impact. If they can get another pickup on a Midas or a Miraxus in the middle, that would be great.
Yeah, he doesn't even have enough for a full combo, I don't think. It's 175, 140, and a portal key. It would be pretty... He would basically he has to have max mana at this point to use the full portal key lava surge and eruption
It would be
combo.
really close, yeah.
Yeah.
I love how Keizu is aggressive down here. This one ward of sight from Insania is kind of allowing him to farm in the enemy force, and each and every minute he takes 2 camps from the Legion side, and that's crucial, especially when you have a Swiftblade with a Rune Axe who is dependent on those forest stacks and those this early farm. So Keizu, every creep kill that he gets is more or less worth double gold at this point.
Now, it's kind of interesting here. We talk about a little bit of greed from the Rune Cleaver pick about Swiftblade. Flensmeister going the same route as well. He actually went the Whispering Helm first, and that tends to be, more of your farming item, of course, on a hero like Puppet Master. We see a lot of Assassin's Trials built first nowadays on Puppet Masters. But I wonder if that's almost like a reaction to what Swiftblade was doing, realizing that, you know what, he's going to play the greed game. I will too. He's doing some triple stack Ancients in the meantime, and he gets some. You think that was the case, or maybe that was just his plan all along here?
More or less. They probably felt like since Miraxus didn't do necessarily too well, or before he has his pull key, it's not necessarily needed for me to have my Shroud, because the Pharaoh is in the game, and even if I were to go offensive and try to get a pick off, the Pharaoh is always going to be close by and he can easily catch me. So I'm just going to wait instead. I'm going to play it safe, get the Whispering Helm, and wait for the portal key timing on the Miraxus.
The Fire Shield applied to Puppet Master preemptively, again mitigating a good amount. How much does it? 170 at this point, up to 200 at level 4. So Fire Shield is an interesting ability in that aspect too. You know, using it preemptively like that, you know, it's good if you think like they're going to be jumping. Sure, and he wants to farm out, but at the same time, you know, wanting to save a cooldown to purge effects is a very, very strong use of it. So you don't necessarily want to use it early, then have it be on cooldown as the fight breaks out. Parasite top lane, he might be in trouble. He's going to get caught. He was in a ballista, thinking he's going to be okay, come on, calm down there, Nier. The eruption made it a little unnecessary, but they do guarantee the kill. That's the point. It's 16 minutes in. Once again, it's a very, very neck-and-neck game here. Very even game.
Sync really good at capitalizing at their these kind of things as well. They know for a fact that the Pharaoh ultimate is down. It's a very long cooldown in level 6, up to 80 seconds, and I know for a fact that eruption is down as well, so they can easily be aggressive if they choose to do so. No, they're actually going to fall back. They're not feeling confident in taking the mid tower quite yet, but they still got an opportunity here, a certain like 1 minute or so before the Pharaoh ultimate is up. So if the Shroud would be finished up here on the Puppet Master, they could easily go for a quick pick-off.
Yeah. You know, that was actually well played by Insania. He actually dusted here in the middle lane, and it spotted a couple of players. That's the great thing about dust. It's not only an anti-invis tool, it's just great for vision in general. It gives you that clear vision around you, and it spotted a couple of heroes, and that's what gave them the cue to, you know what, let's fall back, because they're clearly looking to defend this. So a good heads-up play right there, definitely, from Insania, and making sure to get that information. Swift played in the meantime in the jungle. Again, that Rune Cleaver, as expected, working pretty well when it comes to increasing that GPM, upwards of 470 gold per minute now. So, again, going the Rune Cleaver, very somewhat of a greedy. You kind of wonder how he's going to follow this up now. Well, there we go. He goes the Abyssal Skull, actually.
Immobo is doing so well, yeah.
Yeah.
Abyssal Skull already on top of that Rune Axe. I guess it was because of he felt like a Parasite, you know, he's not going to have a good game this game. We've already killed him twice in the early game, so he's not going to really reach that snowball state where he can pick me off solo. So I'm just going to go for that Rune Axe, the really greedy item build, because there's no way that Sync can actually, you know, put pressure on me early on.
That's interesting. I mean, we see Swiftblade a lot, but apparently very, very few games he goes to Rune Cleaver. I think it was only 5 in total out of the many games we've seen him. Well, look what happens right there. They catch Moira as well as get the courier, but at what cost here? Moraxis comes in with the Matrix. 2 heroes down in Glacius and Magnus, and there still possibly could be more as a fight continues to break out. Accursed is chasing. Again, he has that sear effect applied by anything, but it's not going to happen in the end as they will fall back now. So good counterplay coming out, though. Moira getting killed, sure, but getting 2 counter kills in the process. Definitely Sync pretty happy with that. And losing the courier, but new one's already purchased, and I'm sure going to be upgraded pretty shortly right here. But yeah, so Swiftblade, again, we see so many suicide Swiftblades, and again, Rune Cleaver, especially in that aspect, just doesn't make a lot of sense. So, one of the few games, apparently, we do see a Rune Cleaver pick up here. So,
initiation of Glacius at the bottom.
Yeah, Glacius getting aggressive as Tankafet was doing yesterday as well, but this could work out big time. Puppet Master gets picked off. Moira, that's just the illusion. But now a Curse gets here late. They will get a turn kill onto Midas in the background. Moraxis again. A big portal key jump right there. Gets the one going to Glacius and is chasing, but now Swiftblade chasing down Parasite in the meantime. Magnus here as well. Nice heal from a Curse as well as the shield. It's keeping him alive for quite a long time, and it's going to keep him alive the whole time. In the end, Magnus, he missed the stun as well. He's going to have to portal key. And now Magnus in trouble himself. Great juke right there. A double tap for Mickey in the background. Can he actually escape? I think he is going to be able to survive in the end, but jeez.
Mora is actually chasing as well. No, he's going to give up.
Big fight there.
Oh yeah, that's not what you want if you're racing gaming. Not at this point. They desperately need to stay up or ahead in terms of golden experience. I feel like they should try to get some offensive wards as well. I mean, Tankafet was trying to get some kind of wards up, but it's very important that he has the backup necessary if he's going for those risky plays. I mean, like you mentioned as well yesterday, I mean, he got 17 depths or something, took a new record on that amount of support depth. So needs to be a little bit careful about that, because Sync is very, very good at just organizing and communicating when it comes to these kind of odd team fights or sudden team fights. You know, the instant ports are always there.
Yeah. Now, Casey, I've been meaning to bring this up here. He actually is going the Staff of the Master first. We saw him purchase the early Glowstone, and actually he has enough gold for it now, as he just passed that 2,000 mark. So Staff of the Master Curse, I mean, we know it's powerful. It increases that ultimate upwards of 7 seconds at level 3, as well as being able to use it while silenced or stunned. So, do you think that is the best choice, though, for a first item on a Curse?
Oh, yeah, good question. I'm not sure. I mean, Staff the Master is very, very annoying to deal with if you're the Legion team because, I mean, it allows him to just run straight in. He doesn't even have to care about anything else. But at the same time, Staff the Master is kind of the item that says, okay, I'm never going to get focused. They're going to go all in on my teammates. And I mean, I don't know if they're going to have enough damage if Puppet Master gets locked down in the fight. I mean, Parasite has not had a very good game, and if a Curse is going to be completely ignored, he's not going to deal too much damage when it comes to the late game. And yeah, I would have, like, seeing as he's 300 GPM, maybe go for a little bit more of a semi-carry item, because he can carry quite hard with that third passive ability of his.
Oh, yeah, we have seen that. We have seen that many of times. Not many times, I guess, but several times with Boxy again specifically comes to mind. Playing the Curse. So, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it does feel like a very selfish item, honestly. It's that this helps me, but not necessarily anyone else. I mean, sure, it will allow him to be that presence, almost like an initiator, that he's in the front lines and trying to force and bait out a fight, knowing that he can live pretty easily. But now if you're the Legion team, I mean, they know that now as well. So, ideally, not jumping a Cursed if it seems like he's by himself, knowing that there's a very good chance it could be absolute bait. But, yeah, it really does seem like a selfish item. And you know, instead of going something like the tablet, more of a carry presence, as you're pointing out, could have also been perhaps a better choice. But we'll see how it works out here for KZU. And if Reason Gaming falls for trying to initiate on him and eventually can get turned because, again, the fact that he can use it now while silenced, while stunned, I mean, basically, you don't want to jump this guy. It's pretty much the ultimate point once again. In team
But at
fights.
the same time, I mean, if Reason actually, he's gonna get a kill on Nier, that's a big one. But at the same time, like, if the Legion team actually were to initiate and lock down a Curse, I mean, I think it's worth it in a sense, because they burning so many stuns and bringing down a Curse, it's just not worth it in the end. Not if the team backup is gonna be around for Sync Esports. So yeah, very, very questionable indeed that Staff the Master. It would have been one thing as well if Puppet Master had his BKB at the time Staff the Master was picked up, but at this point, the Legion team just forces initiation in the mid.
Well, there's also at the top lane. He's going to try to pour it out. He gets stomped right there by you in the middle lane. Parasite, it looks like. No, the Arcane Vortex is going to stall that. Swiftblade going against Moraxis in the mid of the top lane. Trying to keep an eye on both fights right here. They get the one kill on a Parasite. And now a Curse in some trouble. His flame consumption is down. Magnus tuns in. The eruption going off, and a Curse is going to fall at the top lane. Both Swiftblade and Moraxis live against one another. And again, the Legion team got the tower kill just prior to that. So, huge fight sequence right there in favor of Reason Gaming over Sync Esports as they tied up in hero kills. And again, look at that goal difference, identical. And now 500 plus gold per minute Swiftblade in the meantime.
Yeah, that's Swiftblade is really looking scary. He's got a Firebrand now as well. I assume that he's going to continue building it into a Geometers and then possibly go into the... I would like to see an Assassin Shroud or something in this game, because I feel like he's going to be so far ahead of his opponents that if he just, finds anyone off guard, he's going to be able to easily use that Swift Slash and get a free kill.
Mm-hmm. Look at the pickup on Midas, by the way. Getting the Alchemist bones here. Set it for a minute or so. Again, Parasite. Pretty good reason to possibly go out here.
It could be, but I mean, we have talked about it before, and Parasite is not having a very good game here, so I don't necessarily feel like he's like the problem that you need to address. I feel like maybe going for that tablet instead would have been better, or building towards that sheepstick. Alchemist Bones, I mean, sure, it's going to up his farm a little bit as well, but Midas is kind of here that tapers off. Initiation bot.
Now, that was interesting. Yeah, I mean, there was a great find on a Puppet Master using the rev ward and everything, but clearly Sync Esports was ready to fight there, as they had more heroes nearby than I think Reason Gaming definitely expected. And I guess the good news is that it only cost them a kill onto Magnus. So all 5 are here, though, for Sync Esports. And they're going to be pushing out what is the bottom lane. Of course, the secondary bottom tower is still here. In fact, all secondary towers are still up on top of that. So I'm going to start with this bottom one, though. And it looks like they may freely get it here. Pharaoh's nearby, but he's not going to initiate by himself, of course, by any means. Level 16 Swiftblade already. The first one to do so. Puppet Master at 15 here. And there's the tower kill. So if they keep pushing, it's safe to say I'm sure Recent Gaming may look to defend. Again, you see the power of Amora too. Like, she uses the ephemeral force towards the middle lane. It scares off both Swiftblade and Midas from pushing it, because just knowing that she could possibly use that Arcane Vortex, people can pour it in and look to jump them. So it's a very, very, very powerful tool. And Insania, again, knows what he's doing.
This hero has an entirely new dimension when it comes to support heroes. There's just so much that the hero can do in general. I mean, it can be offensive. It can, like you mentioned, scare off your opponents. It can disable carries for, I don't know how long that Arcane Vortex lasts. But, I mean, it's so much fun for support heroes to actually pick this hero up because, I mean, the possibilities are, like, unlimited. It's just, I mean, you can do new things all the time, and I love seeing this. Oh, Mirax is going to jump in on Swiftblade.
There's a big chance it's going to be a kill right there. He had Swift Slashes, but he couldn't get it off in time, and it might not have mattered, honestly, in the long run. Again, you see the burst potential of a Parasite who's been struggling this game, but the level 3 Lex Talionis, he has the portal key. He was able to follow up very easily right there with the Miraxis, and ultimately
that's actually like one of the first time we see a Parasite Polki now for quite some time. It's been, what has it been? It's been Assassin's Shrouds and some other item that we saw yesterday as well.
That is true. But, we do see the portal key slapped like in this option here, and actually gets another kill as well as Nier gets picked off in the middle lane. So Sync Esports starting to move around here quite a bit, and clearly it's catching Reason Gaming off guard.
Looking really good. It's not too much. I mean, Legion team, they don't really have the damage output to pick someone else or pick someone off, but at the same time they have a very aggressive lineup. So, I mean, they're kind of forced to, like, you know, they have kind of tried to transition into the late game with this Midas pick, or the Alchemist Bones pick up on Midas and the Rune Cleaver on Swiftblade, but in the end I don't feel like it's paying off. I mean, this Magnus, he had a really fast bulky at level 6 already, but he's not going to he hasn't been able to do anything with it whatsoever throughout the entire game, and that's just come down to the fact that they like plan to run him in that secondary support role.
Yeah. There you go. Apparently he got one yesterday against Solaire Club as well, so Zlap personally is a fan of this combo here. Again, it also makes the point he's slapped, of course, a fantastic jungler, but Parasite does happen to be his jungle hero he struggles on the most, interestingly enough. Midas gets caught here at the top lane, by the way. Glacial Downpour comes down. Moira, though, beautiful mana sunder right there. Midas unable to combo as a result, and it will be a double tap for Mickey. God, that Ephemeral Forge, man, if it wasn't for that, that would no doubt be a dead Moraxis and a one, and then they would have been fine. So Moira, though, making use of her skill set, and they also got a pick on a Pharaoh, it looks like, pretty much while that was happening. So more movement, more control, and now definitely the biggest lead here for Sync Esports, upwards of close to 9,000 gold and 8,600 experience, really just taking it off. And Moraxis with the Hellflower now, he's actually really stepped up as far as his game goes, and impacts 7, 2, and 3 here on Mickey. And that's proven to be a fantastic pickup for them. So, yeah, I mean, Alchemist Bones on Midas. Again, you got to kind of wonder, was that really the best investment here? He does have 3,000 gold saved up, but doesn't really have many sexy items in his inventory other than that portal key here so far.
Yeah, no, I don't think that Alchemist Bones was a good pickup. Sync, though, is playing out of their minds. They're playing really well. Coordinated, get the vision up, they coordinate gangs, like everything is working so well. I mean, actually, I want to point out something as well that Insania said last weekend. He said, he was asked in their Sync was going to play with the same roster in the offseason, and he said, no, we won't be playing with the same roster. We will play with the same players, but the old roster lost in Thailand, and the new roster would never do that. And I mean, bam, that's what I want to hear. I mean, the attitude, that's how you grow stronger. Yeah. Leave the past where it belongs, grow from your mistakes. Sync has already shown us proof of their new strength. I mean, they swept the floor with Recent Gaming earlier this week, and now they're looking strong, like unbelievably pumped up here for this event as well. And I don't know, they just want to prove themselves, not only for themselves, but for the entire community. They are still the #1 team out there, and so far they are really succeeding.
Absolutely. Apparently Mint won their first game against Team Disband, about a 25-minute game there, so congratulations to Fresh here. The other semifinals matchup being covered by Kronos F, and I believe Lash as well, doing it in English. So, again, if you do want to tune into that coverage, you can get some dual streaming going on perhaps, then can check it out over there. But Mint up 1-0 now. Again, the winners of these two series will meet up in the later match today in what is the finals of best of 3 to determine which of those teams goes to DreamHack Summer 2015, and which will have to play in another qualifier here. So, and the first of 5 qualifiers coming at you. So, but back to this game, though, Sync Esports, a Brutalizer now on Casey. So, again, he went to Staff first, but now he's going to pick up a Brutalizer. So he is kind of doing this a little funky, to be fair, as far as how he's putting things together. But he's getting towards the semi-carry potential as Magnus again picked off here at the bottom lane. But
I think he started off with like 5-0 on the 0, and now he's 5-6.
yeah. It's not really going too well. Imbo Boy just finished a Shrunken Head, so I mean that's definitely good news there. But you see Midas actually, gonna get caught by the Arcane Vortex, and guess who's running over? Moraxis. Can he get here in time? Hellflower's applied. Puts in the Moraxis right there, and a couple of auto attacks later gets the go. What was Glacius thinking, man? Oh boy, and now he's gonna get caught out again. Tank Effect getting a little too greedy right here, and he too will be picked off. I believe it was 10-9 Reason Gaming at a point, and now it's 10-19. So Sync Esports has just got so much momentum going for them right now. And again, you look at the golden experience late. It's 5 minutes ago. This was a pretty even game still. 5 minutes later, it's pretty much one-sided now in favor of Sync Esports.
Yeah. We talked about it. I mean, Swift played. He tried to transition into the late game, but I mean, it was quite obvious that the late game was going to belong to Sync as long as recent gaming didn't snowball. And I mean, the general lineup, I mean, it screams aggression to me, and therefore going for these defensive Alchemist Bones and Grundax just doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's either you put it all into the mid game. We talked about it during the draft as well. When you pick up the Pharaoh, you can't really transition into the late game when you have that kind of hero, because he's not going to be able to do too much. I mean, he can pick up a Barbed and try to jump the Puppet Master in the fights, but I mean, that's pretty much the end of it.
Yeah. Ooh, top lane? Or no, just jumping in right there. Yeah, gonna be fine. And just for the second, okay. Wait, this is the first time we've seen Brutalizer on a curse? Really? Is that Boxy? He actually hasn't done that before? Because it really seems like it's actually a very powerful item on a curse, especially if you're going for more of the carry route. But
yeah, synergizes well with his passive.
With that,
plus 40 attack speed.
Yeah. Well, okay, so trying new things here is Keizu apparently as far as competitive scene goes, and again definitely makes sense though as they get the token of life. And I really look at this Midas too. He had upwards of 4,000 gold when he died here at the top lane. Now he does resurrect and he eventually buys a Shrunken Head, but again it's like
what?
Really is that really what they need here? A very defensive item for a Midas?
Like, I just don't see them taking this late game. No matter how much Swiftblade is going to farm, they're not going to be able to take down this Hellborn team with the Swiftblade alone. And I mean, Midas, he needs to put out damage. I mean, they need to have lockdown. Maybe that Sheepstick, for example. Now we got 2 defensive items. One kind of to shut down the Parasite, who hasn't really been a problem in the game. And Midas is actually going to cancel the Midas 4. That's so annoying.
And now, I mean, they know they canceled a TP right there. Look at this. Sync just pushing in the bottom lane very aggressively. They know they're going to have numbers advantage here because they're going to have to run back. I guess it is just Midas, to be fair. So actually Sync does also maybe need to be a little bit careful. All 5 of them are here, though. Look at the Veiled Raw from recent game and being very sneaky there. Trying to make sure that they don't give away any vision. And now Midas is back, so not a free push by any means. Puppet Master, though, still about 3 minutes 20 seconds on the token of life. And it's going to be fine for now. By the way, I just got the whole Midas thing in Alchemist Bones. It didn't connect initially, but it is Midas after all. The god of gold or something. I don't know. Likes gold is the point. Midas in the background, Mana Sunder onto him. So again, Midas kind of taken out right there initially from where he turns stuff into gold. That's what it is. This skin doesn't, to be fair. This is Medusa. This turns it into stone. So it's kind of not really, but.
Sync is just going to keep at it, have no rush. They know for a fact that every Legion member is in the enemy base or in their own base. So, I mean, they don't have any rush. They can do this as slow as they want. It doesn't matter. I really feel like the Nirdo on his Magnus should try to look him or find himself around the enemy team and maybe try to get some kind of cute juke spot. I mean, if he's sitting in a base, that's not going to be enough. He's not going to have enough range for that Polki to actually land a good eruption. I feel like he should try to surround him instead.
See Puppet Master he's got a Hellfire now. I think they kind of switch things around Oh, no, they didn't have it. What am I saying? They just got an Abyssal Skull on Parasite. I thought for some reason they had one already, but no. Parasite just picked one up, so assisting for pushing in right here. The Sanitarius on Miraxis, by the way, I don't even think we really touched on that, but he also has an Ice Brand on top of that now, so very interesting build here from Mickey. But he's lining a combo, but here we go. Pharaoh jumps in right there in the background. An immediate Hellflower onto him, though he couldn't even Mummy Wall. And he's going to end up dropping most likely pretty quickly. Swift Slashes comes out, doing some good damage from Swiftblade. Occurs to get the damage, but nope, there is the flame consumption. And he goes right back up in health, and they're going to turn onto Swiftblade now. And he doesn't have a buyback. In fact, there's the vote to concede. GG, well played. Game number 1 will go to Sync Esports over Reason Gaming here in this best out of 3. So, man, I feel like I say this so often, but once Sync just turns on that switch, the hypothetical switch, it's just there's no chance. I mean, they just get in their groove, they go, and you're not going to be coming back once they do. Another case here. So, final thoughts on the game here, though, Nui?